We all know AI can follow instructions, right? But what if it could do more? What if it could actually think, collaborate, and solve problems, kind of like a human team? Well, that is the incredible shift we're going to break down today. The evolution from these rigid, old school workflows to something new and exciting, dynamic AI teams. So let's just dive right in with this big, kind of mind bending question. What if AI systems could actually form teams, just like people do, to tackle really, really tough problems? And look, this isn't some far off sci fi idea anymore. It's happening right now. Just picture this for a second. You could have one AI agent that's basically the team lead, the planner, figuring out all the work. Then you get another agent, maybe the specialist, who actually executes all the tasks. And to top it all off, a third agent comes in to check the results, like a quality control expert. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, doesn't it? But believe me, this isn't science fiction. This is the real deal evolution of AI, and it's happening as we speak. We're watching it leap from just being a tool to something so much more. So how did we get here? Let's unpack that story. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we got to start at the beginning. Section 1, the foundation. And that's all about AI workflows. This is the bedrock, the starting point for everything we're seeing today. In fact, it's probably how most of the AI you interact with every single day actually works. So what is a workflow? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a fixed pipeline. It's a sequence of steps that we, the humans, lay out for an AI to follow, step by step by step. It's super rigid, kind of like a train on a track. It can't just decide to go somewhere else. And here's a textbook workflow, something you've probably done 1,000 times. First, you ask a question. Then, the system goes and retrieves some information. Step 3, that info gets fed into a language model, and then, boom, an answer is generated for you. Simple, predictable, and honestly, super effective. So yeah, workflows are the absolute workhorses of AI. They're predictable, you can test them, they're efficient, structured, reliable, all great stuff. But, and this is a big but, they are not autonomous. They can't think for themselves. If they run into a problem that isn't in the script, they just stop. They're stuck. Okay, so that brings us to the next big step in the evolution. Section 2, the leap to autonomy. We're talking about single agents now. This is where AI starts to get off the rails and think for itself. And trust me, this is where it starts to get really interesting. So what's the big difference here? A workflow? It's all about that fixed path, right? It just follows the steps we give it. But a single agent? It's on a flexible path. It decides its own steps. It's the difference between following a recipe card to the letter and being a creative chef who invents a new dish on the fly. So what can this single agent actually do? Well, it can observe what's going on. It can plan its next move. It can reason through different options, decide what to do, and then actually act. But the most important part, it can adapt. It learns from what happens. It's a problem solver on a totally different level. And this right here, this is the real magic. If one method fails, a single agent doesn't just throw up its hands and quit. Nope, it can actually try another way. It learns from its mistake, figures out what went wrong, and comes at the problem from a new angle. This ability to self-correct is an absolute game changer. Okay, so we've got these smart single agents. But what happens when you have a problem that's just too big, too complex for one agent to handle? Well, that brings us to Section 3, the breakthrough. We're talking about multi-agent systems, and this is where everything we've talked about gets taken to the next level. So what is a multi-agent system? It's exactly what it sounds like, a team of AI agents. Each one has different skills, and they all work together to achieve one common goal. It's not just one AI working alone. It's a whole crew, a digital dream team. Let's look at an example of what this AI team might look like. You could have a researcher agent. Its whole job is to go out and collect data. Then you've got a planner agent, which takes all that data and creates a strategy. And finally, the executor agent comes in and actually carries out the plan's actions. See, they all have their own specific roles. And these teams can be structured in a couple of different ways. First, you've got the hierarchical model. That's where there's a supervisor agent, basically a boss, that coordinates everything. Then you've got free collaboration. This is more like a flat organization where all the agents interact freely, almost like digital colleagues brainstorming together. All right, let's take a breath. We've gone from simple workflows to autonomous agents, and now to these full-blown AI teams. So that brings us to Section 4, the power of collaboration. The big question is, why does any of this matter? What's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is that this unlocks true AI collaboration for the very first time. Think about it. We're shifting from AI being just a tool that we give orders to AI being a partner, a collaborator, a teammate that can actually contribute. It's a fundamental change.
So, what can these AI teams actually do? Well, for starters, they can tackle really complex, multi-step problems that would be way too much for a single agent. They can operate without a human constantly looking over their shoulder, micromanaging them. And get this, they can communicate, delegate, and optimize tasks among themselves. It's a huge leap. There's a really great way to think about this. Don't just think of a single tool. Think of it as an entire organization of AIs. It's like building a whole company. Each agent has its role, its department, and together they form this incredibly intelligent and capable system.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. Even if the individual agents themselves are pretty simple, when they work together, they can produce intelligent and sometimes even creative behavior. It's this amazing idea of emergent intelligence, where the whole becomes so much greater than the sum of its parts.
So let's just quickly recap this whole journey. First, we had workflows, and they gave us reliability. They just worked. Then came single agents, and they give us flexibility, the ability to adapt. And now, multi-agent systems are here, and they're giving us true collective intelligence. This is really the key takeaway here. This is the next leap forward. We're not just focused on making a single AI smarter anymore. The new frontier is making AI cooperative. And that, my friends, changes the entire game. But that leaves a huge question, doesn't it? How do these agents actually think? What's going on in their minds as they plan and reflect? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle in our next deep dive as we go inside the mind of an AI agent. You are not going to want to miss that one.